Shall we begin?
So it begins.
And now it begins.
So it begins.
And so it begins.
Shall we begin?
It begins.
So, shall we begin?
So, it begins.
Shall I begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
Tic Tac Patty Whack. We're back to the Fandom Collective with another live stream over here. Yeah, we got our crew assembled again. The Flipster, the Rookie Critic, and Black Diggity Doggity Angus over here. And yeah, we're talking about the Mandalorian. I mean, wait, what was it? The book of bibliography? No? Book of Boba Fett. Right. Okay, yeah, I forgot because he wasn't in the show this week. So, yeah, we saw the Mandalorian. That's almost one of my first looks. I didn't even all the way through season 1 of that show. And I was like, oh, look, Mandalorian's here for the whole episode. Nice.
So strange.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Now, what's up, guys? You guys might notice Angus actually has some technology in his room now. He's upgrading a little bit. He's got some Luke Skywalker green saberizing going on there, shining on that one poster in the back with the legs.
Oh, looking good.
Oh, that poster is Betty Page Devil.
Oh yeah,
Classic.
Oh yeah, I love Betty Page more than Marilyn.
Oh yeah, in diggity deed. So how are you guys doing this week before we go into the discussion and everything? What's going on your end, Flipster?
Man, moving, motivating. Things are lined up. I've hit a home run and caught a foul ball. Everything's really good. Super swell, guy.
Fuck yeah. On a roll this week. Hell yeah. And what about you, Angus? You eat a quarter pounder today?
No, actually, I got hibachi. That's why I texted you. Like, you need to try hibachi, bro. I even looked on Google Maps. I'm like, here's one near your home.
He went to Japanese steakhouse, essentially.
Nice.
Like, instead of Australian steakhouse. What is up with that?
We don't got an Outback around here.
You just got Inchal. What'd you say it was called?
Hibachi.
Okay, you got hibachi. That doesn't sound. That was roll off the tongue for me. I don't know. But I know if it's anything like the sushi I've ever tried.
No, it's not sushi.
I hate sushi.
Fried rice and
fried rice
on the grill. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know
about a lot of flavor.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's probably lying to me. I don't know.
It's good.
It's probably nasty. Well, I'll just get a plain cheeseburger.
Oh my god, this guy.
Jeez.
Oh yes, your favorites. Oh yeah, but anyway, we're on what are we on episode 5 now? A book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And
Two more to go.
It's debatable.
Holy freaking guacamole. So yeah, y'all know I haven't really enjoyed Boba Fett at all up to this point at all. And I've only seen one. I just watched the Bill Burr one of Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think so. I'm just after that one. Yeah, I liked him on there. So that's how far I am on that end. And so when I'm watching Book of Boba Fett right now, I'm like, wait, why are we Mandalorian? Just said it was there for the whole episode. So I'm okay, I guess it's like a Mando episode. Okay, cool. I feel like I've heard a few people say this too, that this was probably footage filmed that they intended to be for like season 3 of Mando, and I'm just like, let's just put it in an episode here. It's like, yeah, okay, makes sense to me.
I can see that.
Makes sense. And so, yeah, I guess. Do you guys want to give your initial thoughts before we go in depth, or just dive right into it?
Flip can go first.
Oh, I was gonna. All right. So, initial thoughts. I woke up at 4:00 in the morning. Not on purpose, just happened to wake up, and I was like, "Oh snap!" So I put it on. But here's what I did. I was so sleepy, I accidentally put on episode 4. And I thought the first 15 minutes, I'm like, man, they're using a lot of reshots, But it didn't surprise me, because that's the way the fucking show is.
Flashbacks, either a recap or anything. Yeah, that makes sense.
It took a while, but I
I've
finally
already seen
realized,
it. What the heck? This is episode 5.
it's kind of the way the vibe is. And I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. So then I switched it to the correct episode, and
And
You cut out there, Flip. You said you hit it to the next episode, and then it cut out.
well, I got it. So overall, it was a really good episode. Again, as I've stated in numerous tweets, it wasn't the Book of Boba Fett at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly. What about you, Flip? Or what about you, Flip? What about you, Angus?
Yeah, I was very much surprised. Who knew this show could be so great? All you had to do for Book of Boba Fett is not show Boba Fett. No,
That's the
it
missing
was
ingredient.
it was really weird. Like, I know I didn't watch any videos, but I knew there was speculation about like the musical cue of Mando music. Did that actually mean, oh, Mando's coming, or was it someone from the Mandalorian show? Could be you had that liberty to fan theorize, and no, I was kind of surprised they went straight with it. Like, yeah, this is Mando coming in.
They get Gorgu come in as the muscle that they needed or something.
I mean, all you have to do is choke everyone, yeah. But no, I was really surprised, and this episode shows how unfocused this show was rolling it out. Like, they had that teaser at the end of season 2 after Luke for this show, but they clearly maybe
What was the teaser, by the way? 'Cause I haven't seen it.
Oh, the teaser at the end after Luke and all that, and Grogu goes with them, is that Boba, someone's going in to
where he kills Tuna. I got you.
Yeah, he kills Bib for Tuna and sits down, and it's such a cringe shot to me, even though it's like, oh, cool, they're doing a Boba Fett show. It's cringe because like the way they just like he sits down, he like takes it, and then she sits down. It's like she's looking cool, but it's not like she's just like naturally, finally, like we're the kings of the. It feels like a rap video somewhere. It's like, yeah, look at us, we're so cool. Like, it looks totally like they're breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, it's because no one's there to see it.
And
at
it's
all.
like,
That's actually brings to me. I know you have a point you're trying to do here, but so like they even showed in the last episode that there was like like Bidford had people following him, right? Like he had like a whole like faction of people, right?
to a degree, yeah, weaker than Java, but yeah.
And then so when he killed Tuna, did they all just disappear like Thanos or some shit? Like,
I assume Boba cleaned house.
like every single one of them. That's really dumb. Okay, that's weird.
It is
I
weird.
don't know.
You'd think they would have needed the money.
Well, yeah. Well, then I think they would have known him. Oh yeah, you're around here before, and you're tough and strong. Why would we go against you? You're fucking. Hey, you got rid of Tuna, that fat douche. Yeah. That's
well,
fine. Like
I don't know because most of Jabba's posse died with him at the Sarlacc pit. So
I don't know. Like, I don't even know if. Well, I'm just saying because
there's not a lot of explanation.
All I'm saying is that they showed that Tuna had a bunch of people following him in the last episode, and then according to season 2 thingy, like he just waltzes in and kills Tuna, and then that's it. And it's like, I don't know, there seems to be a missing, like in this show, they forgot that Tuna didn't have people, and then they made him have people for the flashback or something. Like, I don't know.
It feels very much like this show that there might have been a couple season or a couple episodes of like actual work put in. But then I'm thinking the show is so short. When they got the Mando episode, it feels like maybe this was totally wrecked by wherever they're filming in COVID restrictions and stuff.
I mean, they're filming on like the same set. See, that's the thing. In Mando, they seem to be going to different locations all the time, which is a step up from staying in one place. And in Boba, they're on the same boring set. I don't really see how that'd be difficult to get to have such. I don't know. It just seems like it'd be simpler.
I'm just saying, like, it feels like maybe they started shooting stuff and then the scamdemic ruined plans, and so they just hodgepodged this meshed together and called it one
they
show.
would have they would have had Boba Fett having more people, but they're like, just COVID, we just can't, I guess.
So, I'm not talking about people. I'm just saying like story filming. I think that this was derailed a lot.
Filming schedules.
Yeah, and so they just threw this together because this is very clearly just a Mando episode.
Yeah.
And then it's like they book in like, oh, we can just retool this story into the show and be like, yeah, we need, like, this is like season 3, episode 1, like, hey, I need a new ship.
So,
And
what gets
see
me is that it should have been mixed. How are you not even going to have Boba Fett in it? Like, they should have mixed them into this episode together somehow.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like they wanted to have Mando season 3 first, but then we're like, I don't know, it's gonna take a while. We got restrictions. Let's just do something with Boba Fett for a bit to fill in time, and then we'll, like, I don't know, continue Mando stuff, and say that they're connected.
Well, they recently just had, like a week or two ago, more delays or something with filming for Mando.
Yeah,
for
like
season 3, so
it seems like this episode of Boba Fett was almost like it was an episode of Mando where he goes back and finds something with Boba Fett. Like, I don't know, like it's a little odd how that happens. But anyway, let's go in through this, bit by bit here. So thankfully, my most exciting bit was that there was no fucking back to tank flashbacks or Tusken crap. That's all gone and done.
You hate indigenous folk.
Totally. Fuck that shit. Not in Star Wars. My God. Like, let's go with something interesting. And there's some dudes making some meat, some aliens doing some big old cleaving, and it's like, oh, who's this coming in? And it's Mr. Mando dude walking in. They're like, you look like you're lost, boy. And he's like, nah, I'm kind of collecting a bounty. I like how he just quietly just like lets them keep on talking for a bit, and then he's just like, okay, hot or cold? It's like, okay, nice. And he's like, you're surrounded, boy. And somebody tries to bite his hand at first, which I thought was like,
they're dog people, so
interesting first move, right? Interesting first move with them, but then they shoot at his head and everything. I'm like, at least they have blasters again, though, and it kind of, I guess it makes enough sense that like that his armor can deflect it all off mostly, so that's better than them just missing or not having blasters at all. So that is refreshing in a way still, that they at least have blasters and use them. And he does take damage, but it seems like he damages himself. He's got the dark saber. I never saw any episode with the dark saber in Mando yet, so whatever, he ends up getting it, and he's not very skilled at handling it, I guess, and he like kind of sort of skims himself and injures himself a little bit, but he ends up taking out all the guys and chops them up in half, which is, I was like, okay, I thought you were gonna try to still take him, but I guess with his transportation he can't. I'm not sure, so he's got to chop him up a bit for travel, and he goes outside. Before that, he bags him up a bit, and then goes outside. And there's like 20 guys ready to attack him. Sort of. They all seem like they're just workers, not really hired men or anything to fight. And it's just like there's a lot of money in there. Y'all can just leave. I thought that was kind of a little long-winded for just telling them to just fuck off, basically. But it seemed like. He's got his own motivations. He could fight or roast them or something with the flamethrower, but he's like, I don't really want to kill you if I don't have to. Which, I don't know, like me not having seen that much of Mando, I'm like, this is nice character bit that, like, in all the episodes of Boba Fett so far, I have no idea what the fuck he wants or why. But, like, Mando, like, I get that he's just got his goal. He's just doing his bounty thing. He doesn't really care about the money. He's just doing what he needs to do to get to the next bit that he wants to do. And it's like that. I don't know. I like that. So that was that first scene.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Forward to you guys.
Yeah. I feel like when Boba Fett, you said something, and a lot of people are saying this, that they don't really know what it's about, because that's not Boba Fett. Like he in my opinion, two things he would have been thinking of coming out of that Sarlacc pit. I mean, aside from the obvious, and that's how I need to live. What do I do to live? But beyond that, he'd be thinking, Han Solo, that motherfucker, hurt me and I flew into the thing. But more than anything, Mace Windu. Or how am I going to get paid for the job or since Jabba died, how am I going to get off this rock? To pay
Or
for it?
Or like if he
Luke
has a house
Skywalker.
or if he has a house or other things in his life to do or something. Like I
Well,
feel
yeah,
like there'd be
he can't
anything other than staying on Tatooine.
Right. And that's where I am with it. And then whenever you see him, you're right. He's always in one of three places: at the castle, or the palace, or at the Twilight healing baths, or in the street. That's pretty much it. And they're all the three sets are probably pretty easy to record on because they're always ready.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exciting, and Boba isn't Boba. We've addressed that pretty well.
Exactly.
And he looks like he's standing there waiting to see the principal. Like you see a kid in a movie or whatever, or even they're like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They're humbled, kind of humbled and waiting for the principal to call him into the office and give him, tongue
He's
lap.
waiting for Ming Na Wen to tell him what to do next.
There you go. Yeah, a little teacher, lady. Well, it was.
Might be cut out.
Oh, is that better?
There, yeah, I can hear you again. Yep.
I had to move my antenna.
Okay.
But
you're an alien? No, just kidding.
But at the end, toward the end, I'll address it later. But she did something that I thought was out of character. I'll relinquish for now. I'm curious about your views on that, Angus.
Yeah, I watch this and it starts out. He walks in, he's getting a bounty, and it's like, all right, you're wondering when this is. Then soon you figure out it's like, all right, he doesn't have Grogu. This is after he's just falling back into doing the bounty hunter thing. And this is all apparently to get intel after everything we talked about to find the reformed coven of the Mandalore, the Death Watch cult sect that he's now aware he's in.
Yeah, that fits.
And I don't know. I liked it, and it. What's glaring a problem is that after Solo, they were supposed to do a Boba Fett movie. For a while, it was Josh Trank from Chronicle, but Fantastic Four fell apart, and of course, like the whole track record with Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, they get these guys that seem hot, or girls, Patty Jenkins. They get them when they're hot. And then the next project comes before their project with Star Wars happens, and it tanks. And so then they cut ties because, like, oh, you're low on the totem pole now. Fuck off, And it feels like Mando was them retooling Boba Fett, whatever they had in plan, and roping it into a new character show, trying to appease the Boba Fett want. And they've done pretty well, even with some poor episodes. Like Bryce Dallas Howard's first episode was crap, and the Gunslinger episode was crap as far as quality. But those are like the low points. You could argue season 2, there's like filler episodes, but for me, I was like, this feels like we're just living in Star Wars. But yeah, that's what I noticed the most, and it's just like he's got a presence, which is weird because he's a new character, Din Djarin, and I'm watching it, just this whole episode, and it's like,
is that the name of Mando, by the way? Like, okay,
Djarin.
so I was just like, oh, okay, yeah.
And it's just crazy because you watch this and it's like, this could have been Boba Fett the whole time, but for whatever reason they were scared to do it with him, so they made a secondary character to pawn it off of, and it worked. And now you've brought back Boba, but you got to redo him because then you'd have just 2 clone copies. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I'm more interested after the introductory. Like, it was just fun seeing, like, action and stuff, and like him like showing off his tools and stuff. Because like I was telling Rookie, I like the way they've done this show, Boba Fett, as far as the fact that unlike the Marvel stuff, where it's like at this point you have to have been aware some of Marvel to like watch it, but they're kind of contained one-shot stories or like mini-series stories. Like if you're reading comics, like this is like Civil War, but then you got X-Men Civil War that like bounces in and out of.
Yeah, like when I saw No Way Home, I did not see the last 4 or 5 or whatever movies or shows or anything, and it was fine. Like, context was not needed for the movie.
This show, to a degree, you can't really come into and understand the working, especially if it's going to reflect into the Mando world established. This is the first stuff they're building in between 6 and 7, I think, to kind of pad and beef up the sequel trilogy over time as well, along with playing with like in between that timeline, giving us more understanding of the world to lead in the sequels, to kind of answer questions that shit didn't. So yeah, that's what more stuck out, just like thinking overall of like the creative process of this show versus the established Mandalorian, and clearly more just bad management of story and like direction they want to do. But yeah, it was fun. It's fun just like feel like you're getting back into like, yeah, see Mando with all his tech, and you know, he's got the whistling birds at his disposal. Like, he's got the dark saber now. He's got his Beskar rod, spear, whatever, from Ahsoka.
So if this was the first time you saw Mando, like you started by watching Book of Boba Fett, God bless your soul.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, wait,
you know,
we could be getting this the whole time.
Yeah, like
this is more than the 4 other episodes.
You see the Mando episode, you'd be like, wow, I want to see more of this guy. It seems pretty cool. Like, you'd be interested in seeing more with this character.
Yeah,
and
I was disappointed they didn't tie in Boba Fett into this episode. Like, it's like, all right, it's
I think
late,
they
but we're here. Let's action.
They kind of lingered a long time on like crafting whatever for Grogu, and then him walking to the place, him making the ship. So this has some things that I have wrong with. Like, the thing with Mandalorian that I've watched so far is that they do a lot of things that I don't like, but they at least mostly reach like my minimum standard requirement of like something. Compared to Boba Fett, which really doesn't accomplish anything. This accomplished it. Like, Mando seems to accomplish things, but it takes a little while to get there. Like, with what it accomplishes.
It's very much
like that's more that's like the slow burn that I'd prefer in comparison to Boba Fett. Like, it takes a while, but you're getting character stuff while something's happening. You're getting, you know, world building essentially while it's happening. As to where with Boba, there's not much of anything happening.
Well, it's like Clint Eastwood's Man No Name. It's like the origin of Boba Fett, his inspiration, the like elements of the gunslinger, the man with no name. That's what they've done with Mandalorian, and so it's jarring because like,
and then with Boba Fett, Boba Fett's always like, "I am Boba Fett." Shut up!
Yeah, we know
telling everybody that.
Yeah, like he doesn't have to talk really at all. He's already cool. Just his like swag. Presence, like, his lack of discussion.
He's like slowly taking him apart piece by piece. See, I can't help but feel like has more say than we think. I don't know who. I'm not saying it's, you know, Kathleen Kennedy or her story group for sure, but it feels like, hey, they are being limited or something. So it's almost as if Favreau and Filoni got mad at whoever this is. You know, because they're like, well, you got to make this Boba Fett show, but we want it done this way. So they're just like, oh, yeah, fuck you. Watch this episode. It's our character. Because it's such a stark difference, you know?
Yeah, and like to Angus, like the flip that goes with what Angus is saying, where it's like, you know, Mando was supposed to be Boba Fett at first, and then they couldn't. And then now you have Boba Fett, and he can't be Mando. So...
I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the other reason to reinvent Boba Fett, and it makes sense. But yeah, like I mean, given what we know, it's like you should assume Mace Windu's dead and gone.
Yeah, I assume that.
I don't think that's an element, but I think I never really thought about this till recent. People talking about Mace Windu again and motivation for Boba Fett is that knowing the full Lucas saga. When he jumps at Luke Skywalker and ropes him, it's like, what's going in his head, knowing the context of Mace Windu killing his dad, that he sees that saber, he knows what that is, you know.
Jedi, that's someone fuck you.
Yeah. And
I'll shoot the string at you and hopefully it gets you.
So it's like, as far as we know, Boba doesn't know about Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian show context. And so I'm wondering if that can come up later. You know,
see that when you think like that makes me think like if they made like a Boba and Mando like show together in a way, with this. Like if like Mando was
The
helping,
brother's Beskar.
like this is what I think would be cool if you would have the Book of Boba Fett show where Boba's doing crap on his planet and then Mando's like helping to gain Boba's forces essentially or something throughout space. So like getting external ties that isn't just on freaking Tatooine. And that'd be cool if at one point they have a conversation. He's like, I've met Jedi before. You've what? Oh, that's neat. Tell me where I can find, something like that, where there's, some tension a little bit where Mando doesn't know that how Boba got in the Sarlacc and everything and freaking hates Jedi and all. And Boba doesn't actually, I don't know anything about what he knows about Boba or about Mando because I haven't seen that part in the show. Has Boba seen fucking Baby Yoda?
Yeah, well, he knows about him because that one episode.
Yeah, well, like when Boba comes in right after, like the dark robot troopers, whatever, like third gen in the saga lore, whatever, they like take Grogu and fucking nuke his ship. So then it's like, oh well, conveniently we have Boba Fett with the Slave One.
Well, no,
so
I'm saying
like,
so.
Around.
What I'm saying, so did Boba Fett meet Baby Yoda?
I don't think so because he's not involved in the fight. Like he's just like the distraction and drop off. For
no, I'm just saying because I haven't seen it. So like,
I'm trying to recollect. It's like I don't think they ever crossed paths. Like I think he knows about him.
Because if he knew that he can use the Force or something, he'd probably be like, well, let me see where the rest of y'all are at some point. That'd lead to an interesting thing of like Boba and Mando at odds or something like the ties with the Jedi.
Oh, yeah, they're at odds over the like the freaking Jedi and the Darksaber. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We need to get into the Coven part because that's like,
that's where a big chunk where we're going there. So yeah, he chopped the thingy off. He went to the Halo ring. Basically,
awesome. I love the Halo ring.
Yeah, made me think of Elysium.
Yeah, there's Elysium. Yeah. There's the Halo constructs essentially, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of a cool little city thing. That's something that feels like a Star Warsy type of thing that would exist somewhere. So I'm like, okay, that's nice. And he goes there. He's limping around quite a bit. The people are like, oh, sit down and eat with us, my friend. And he's like, fuck you guys. I'm trying to go, put that on ice. And then he limps around, and he's got a little visor that shows him hidden symbols. Which are what was that? Just Mandalorian symbols, or is that something else? Like
I think that was like a marker. Like follow this way and you'll find.
But is it Mandalorian or Death Watch, or is there a difference?
I don't know. And then made clear, but the Mythosaur, Boba Fett symbol is like a big giant sigil in their their first coven at the first planet or whatever that Mando comes from.
Yeah, so there's like two people there, which you guys will have to tell me because is there only that many left, or is that just all they can afford for this episode or something?
That's all it's left from his coven of Mandalorians.
Oh, okay, so wow, they're almost extinct.
Yeah,
okay.
The Empire, or the remnants of the Empire of Moff Gideon wiped them out, and they happen to have escaped.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So the voice of the big one of Vizsla guy, he is Jon Favreau.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. And he's pre-Vizsla?
He's not pre-Vizsla. He's a Vizsla. He's from the house.
From the house of Vizsla. Okay. That's cute.
Oh, fuck, that's going to be the next show, House of Vizsla.
So yeah, let's walk through those events and then you guys give your commentary there. So he's like, he like falls down the stairs and then, the big dude, Favreau heals him, cools him down a bit, and they have a little chit chat. He shows him the Darksaber. This is apparently the first time that they're seeing the Darksaber here, and then they go to train with it next, and it somehow gets really heavy, which I don't understand how that works, but I guess if you're not going with the saber, it just gets really heavy, and I guess that's an interesting element, but if it was used in the previous show, I don't know if that thing existed at the time, but now it does. I don't know. And it's difficult for him to wield, but then Favreau challenges him. I'm just calling him Favreau now. Challenges him and for the saber, because that's how that works with their mythos, basically. And then they have a little fight. Favreau even uses the Darksaber against him a bit, but Mando does some ninja moves and gets the jump on him, and then the wielder chick with the furs,
Armorer.
the armorer chick, is like, no, stop. And then I don't know why she says this. She's like, have you taken your helmet off before? No. And then she's like, have you taken it off, Mando? He's like, yeah. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. And then he leaves. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
So in season 2, when Bo-Katan and stuff comes in, about midway through and stuff, you learn that his coven is actually like from Death Watch or whatever. And so they're like extremists. And so that's part of like their specific lore, but like he's only grown up knowing that this is Mandalorian way when it's not, because he's like, what? You took your helmet off? What the fuck? This isn't a Mandalorian. And she's like explaining, like, yeah, you're from that. Oh, okay. No wonder you're crazy. And so yeah, that's like a thing. So I don't know why, because he's got the Darksaber and it's supposed to be like this big like beacon to like be the leader of Mandalore. And I don't know why he's not like challenging the armor in saying, like, clearly, you know, because he shows himself to Grogu before Luke takes him, which is wrong.
I just assumed, yeah. So
like,
are they not
through season 2? There's a couple times he takes his helmet off because of circumstance, like getting intel from the Empire remnants, because Bill Burr's character was in the Empire, and he's like, well, I can't do it because I'll pop off, and Boba can't do it because he's a clone and shouldn't be around anymore. So Mando has to take his helmet off to like do this like ID thing on his scanner, and then again he shows his face to Grogu and everyone around him, and so he's like breaking the way of this Death Watch, and he's got the Darksaber now. So that's my intrigue, is like, wait, he's still trying to buy into this.
You have to eat a sandwich. You know, take it off. You gotta take it off to eat like a sandwich. Like, it's
essentially like Christendom, right? So you have Catholicism, and then you have like various Protestant denominations where it's like, no, this isn't what we believe. We don't believe in the Pope. We don't believe in Mary's holy or whatever, or like the Eucharist is real. It's a symbol, not real. All these different little factors that differentiate the denominations. That's what Death Watch is. They're a sect of Mandalore that went extrement, and given his stature now,
they're the Templars or something, right?
Yeah, I don't get why he's not challenging that. So like, no, we don't got to do this. Like, I've met other Mandalorians.
Wait, so he's met other Mandalorians. They have not met other Mandalorians.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's much more interesting when he came across the Armorer and Babra's Tar Vizsla. The conversation would have been much more interesting. We could have got some information on why Bo-Katan is such a, they don't like her so much, or, it would have been better to get more of that. What's the word for it? Well, for lack of the correct term, more information about that character.
Yeah,
more
backstory.
Backstory, yeah.
Is Bo-Katan the redhead chick?
Yeah, that's
okay. I gotcha.
And I like.
You like what?
You got cut off and you like
buddies and say thank you. Other than that, I guess it was a great fight scene too. But
yeah, I feel like they knowing all this info from the previous Mandalorian season. It feels like they're purposely dragging out this like issue, because it's like, well, she says like you have to go to like this well or spring or something on Mandalore to rectify this falling from the way. You're no longer part of us.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, that's been decimated by the Empire, so like, how's that going to happen? And so like, tough shit.
We say it's kind of a weird written thing where, okay, what if your planet gets destroyed? Now
it's
what?
Just the way. What if my planet got destroyed? This is the way. That was her answer to that. He goes, but the mines have been destroyed. She goes, this is the way.
Be like, just take a shower in the space that used to occupy where the planet was, or something.
Take a shower.
I don't know. That should be the same.
Can I take the helmet off the shower?
That's what I was gonna say. That's kind of a dumb thing too. It's like,
no, you can't show yourself to other people. It's not that you can't take it off, so you can't.
But they worded it like, have you taken your helmet off? They didn't say it like, has people seen your face or something? That's more specific.
Yeah, it's forbidden. This is
so from the episode I just watched of Mando, like with Bill Burr and stuff, like the big red dude is like, they all want to see his face, but he hasn't let them in there, and it's like, okay, that was a nice little thingy for it. He's like, no, don't see my face, no. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say on this bit for this scene.
Well, I like the fact. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I like the fact that they were fighting on this ledge that led right out to space, and they took their backpacks off. It was very tense to me at 4 in the freaking morning. I'm like, my heart's racing like more than it normally.
Don't die, Mando. and they show that that if he didn't have his jetpack before, that he would have fallen a long time. So
yeah, it was pretty cool. And that's what's bugging me about Boba Fett. Like, look. If you put Boba Fett in a similar situation, fighting someone with a whatever happens right there on the edge of space. No, instead they got him like barebacking a bantha through the desert, and then they kill. The whole reason they set up the Sand People, we thought, well, there'll be a payoff, because that's what normal people do. They develop a character's backstory or current story, and then they pay it off later. That's like movie making 101, storytelling 101. But then they kill them all. They're like, well, fuck them. So why did we spend all that time just to learn that Boba Fett's going through this freaking, midlife crisis since he escaped?
It's the Solo parody, or the Solo method of, we need to see how he got his cane, how he got his coat, and
his
how
dice.
he got his
remember the dice?
It's the dice.
Episode 5.
Exactly. It's the dice. It's the dice thing, and your last name. Your last name is Solo.
That's why I say it sounds like somebody else is pulling some strings there, because that's not Favreau Filoni's style. I mean, look, Filoni has done the Clone Wars and Rebels and Mandalorian. And so has Favreau, and so have all the other directors they've got, Robert Rodriguez and Ron Howard's daughter. I can't remember her name at the moment.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes. All of them have worked on The Mandalorian. They know the story. They know how
This was her episode too. Crazy shit.
Yeah, no, she did a great
Really?
job. But that's what I'm saying. It sounds like somebody else has their fingers in the pie. It's not Boba Fett. This is not. I know how passionate that Favreau was about him. We all did. Something is really effed up about the way they're doing it. Maybe it'll pay off in the end. I don't know, guys. What do you think? It'll pay off later?
Even if it does pay off later, I just feel like they could have done better leading up regardless. It's kind of like the opposite of a Game of Thrones, I guess. It's like starting out shitty and then leading up well. I don't know.
I'm in the minority, but I disagree with the Tusken thing like that. They essentially mimicked way more detail and reinvention, the whole Phoenix idea I talked about, but they essentially did the same thing as Luke, where it's like Luke goes off, gets Ben Kenobi, and he comes back and, oh, the Empire destroyed your family. They did the same thing with Boba in a different circumstance, and that's his motivation. Like Luke was like, I want to join the Empire and find a fighter and blah blah blah, and then it's like now his whole world is wrecked by the Empire. So he's got a totally new motivation.
But there's no motivation for why Boba even stayed there at all. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I don't get. And why
I think he found value in like the whole tribe thing that he talked about. It's like, I buy it. Now, was it completely delivered well? No, I'll agree with that.
They could have done that same thing, and I agree with you. I'll completely agree. They did it for him, to buy into the belief, but they could have done that in 30 minutes. Like, they really spent, some time.
It's like the way I see it is they could have either done it in 30 minutes, or if they spent the time they did on it, they should have done different things with that time, because a lot of it was really wasteful and fillery, not much substance given to support the idea that he finds value in them. Is how I see that. Because otherwise I could see if there was some more in there that maybe that would have worked, but we could go in circles talking about the Tusken crap.
Sure.
So, what's up, Curtis? So he says, I haven't seen any Boba Fett yet, so I'll be lurking. Appreciate that, man. I don't recommend you see Boba Fett anyway, but
No, watch it so that you can see this episode and be like, what the fuck? This
no,
could have been the whole show.
Literally don't watch any Boba Fett episodes except for episode 5, because there's no Boba Fett in it. So
no Boba Fett.
There you go. It's the key to a good ingredient for it. But anyway, so then he goes. So he's going to leave the planet, and apparently they have space planes, which I guess they sort of do.
They
I
already
think
did that episode
I think
2.
on I
They
think on
get on a
Naboo-
bus to go
Yeah,
to
That's
Naboo.
what I was about to say. They have that on Naboo, but that's more like on its own planet than
No. They
space-wise.
left Coruscant
Of course, yeah.
with Padme to go to Naboo, and they get on a bus. It's essentially a space bus.
A
Did they
Greyhound.
leave Coruscant on a bus, or did they? I thought they went on.
Remember, the
on
bounty hunters
Naboo.
try to kill Padme, and so like, fuck, we need to hide you because you're a target, and so we need to put you in hiding. So we got Jar Jar and one of your decoys playing Naboo representation in the Senate.
No,
Yep.
I know, but I'm saying that they travel a bit on Naboo. So I don't know if they
To
were
leave
on
Coruscant, they get on the bus, and that's where you get like R2 getting the food, whatever, and the droid's like, no droids, ironically.
Yeah, it's like a Greyhound bus sort of situation.
I don't remember that part. Well, I think I swear that's on Naboo, not on Coruscant.
No, you're wrong. They land on Naboo, and then they're like in the Imperial Palace area of Naboo.
Well, either way,
I don't know. I was just saying. I don't know. Just seemed like something. And I was saying anyway that they do something similar on Naboo anyway with that, and they're like no weapons on the plane. It's like, what the fuck? And it's like, I guess that makes sense in a way, but I also kind of would think maybe they have it like. I actually don't know. When it's space travel, I don't fucking know. So I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense.
I just thought it was funny because then he has to like unload. And it's like
I've seen
a lot
that
of weapons.
that type of scene is
Right.
done. That type of scene is done in many things, but this one, I like to see each version of this in a way. Like there in Pirates of the Caribbean, they kind of had that. Remove. You know, they're doing all the pistols. Remove, and she has like a huge one up her butt. Essentially, it was like, or they imply with how she reaches for it.
Good old prison pocket.
Exactly, and there's other ones where they do this, where they're like, you can't go forward unless you remove your weapons. And like, ugh. So it's like a whole minute scene of them unloading all their extra weapons. It's kind of funny. Yeah, so that was it, and then he's on the plane or the ship going to Tatooine, and there's a little Guido boy that's like, hey, what's up? And Mando's just looking at him, not really doing anything. And then he's like, I'm thinking of Grogu. Because, we forgot to mention, he had a Mandalorian spear or something and forged that into like a toy or a lightsaber hilt or something. I don't know.
she's like obsessed with melting shit. And do you have anything
got-
for me to melt today?
Got anything for you to melt today? Yeah. Can I melt that? Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, it's like a bit.
Yes.
It's funny because weapons are their religion, but then it's like, oh yeah, Beskar is for defensive items, not weapons.
Well, it makes sense, I guess, if she said that it could be used to kill each other. Like if it can pierce the armor easily enough. Like I guess that makes sense. But okay. And then I don't think they showed what he made for Baby Yoda, but he made a.
She made little rings, like chainmail rings. So I'm wondering if it's like some sort of Grogu armor.
I'm gonna say some brass knuckles for the baby.
Well,
I
she
was
tied up
hoping-
and it's like it's handheld, whatever the fuck it is. So
I was hoping it'd be a little Grogu lightsaber hilt or something, but somebody else mentioned that. I don't know, but I like the idea of it.
I don't think so. I don't think it'll be a lightsaber.
Maybe not. I think they have to do it themselves to count.
Oh,
'Cause
that's true.
So-
Just the way just the way she roped it up in the packaging. I don't get lightsaber.
Just a stress ball, but it's just metal, so it's just nothing. It's
Since
like,
we're talking about that, when we were actually seeing this, when he's reminiscing over taking this present to Grogu, I mean, that is obviously where somehow we're going to see Luke Skywalker again. Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, all right, they're going to bring that double back, and of course, Mark Hamill, the voice.
Yeah, well, that's what will be funny about Book of Boba Fett is it'll be saved by cameos from other characters that aren't him. Essentially, that was
kind of the dread after Luke Skywalker's like, oh, okay. Like given where the show's gone tonally, where it's like I've enjoyed it mostly, but it's still poorly written, poorly paced, directionless thus far.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be thus far with 2 episodes ago. this show will be saved by cameos. Like this show instantly is going to skyrocket in popularity just because it's Mando, but it's under the guise of Boba Fett.
I hope not, Angus. I hope not. I don't want it to be good because of the cameos at the end. Although, if you people in groups of 1 or 2, like here, you could get to understand the intelligence of another person. But people in masses are idiots. They're just stupid. And they'll take anything that you throw at them and swallow it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I hope not.
Faux show. But, yeah, so...
Let's get to the best part.
He lands on Tatooine. That's in Mos Eisley, right? Or is it
he's in
somewhere
Mos
else?
Eisley, not Mos Espa.
And he's got that crazy-haired chick that has droid posse who's trying to hunt a little dude, little thingy there. It's trying to get her robots. Yeah, it's trying to get her little robots, and it gets her, and then the robots are all laughing at her as she's getting eaten by one or something. And Vando comes in and shoots it. And
I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home. I wasn't bigger than 2 meters.
That would have been funny if Mando said that or something. Thanks for saying womp rats all the time. But so then she's like, "Yeah, I got a ship for you, boy." And so I guess I'll leave it there. She reveals that they've got a little Naboo yellow ship thingy.
N1 Starfighter.
Yeah, thing. Ship thingy.
Yeah,
And,
one of my favorite ships of Star Wars.
Yeah, I'll leave it there for you guys to pick up from that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this because it's far and few between when I can get prequel of, and I don't mean Ahsoka because that's not real prequel love. That's addition. That's Disney shit. Even though she was there before Disney, but that's like newbie shit. This is old school episode 1. We got the N1, the Naboo Starfighter. Loved it. I love seeing it. And at first he's like, "Nah, fuck this." And I'm like, no. One thing I didn't like was they got like the motor sticking out on the top, and it's such a slim, sleek cockpit. It's like, how do you see over that effectively? That bothered me. At first, though, I thought it was going to be like she made a spaceship out of a pod racer. The way they had like the engine showing.
Yeah.
Like,
Anakin's old pod racer now or something.
And I was like, oh, cool. And then it's like, oh, even better. It's from Naboo. And of course, it's utility for that too, because it's not within the like Republic system or registration, or whatever. So you can still go undercover or whatever with it, like the Razor Crest.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun, and just a fun sequence of like a little bit of comedic relief humor with that chick, which I don't know who the fuck she is. She's apparently famous from somewhere. To a degree. Normally I get annoyed when she comes in, but this is a fun episode with her. I thought they used her well, and they had this whole kind of montage of building the ship up. I didn't like that it didn't have all the paneling on it. It looks, unfinished, but maybe they'll play with that later in the show, and I'm like tweaking it more and more. But it was just fun to see pod race-esque imagery of him racing through the canyons and shit, and all like the rock formations, and then taking off. And they echo back to episode 1 or 2 of Mando with season 2 with the Chinese guy as the X-Wing fighter for the Republic. And just it's fun things. Wasn't a lot of substance there. It was just fun to see prequel shit, because it's like I think their Star Wars is finally realizing at Disney that like, oh fuck, all these prequel kids that we thought like everyone hates these Star Wars, they're like, oh wait, they're old enough to buy stuff. So
they're not all red letter media after all. Jeez, wow.
Yeah, it's like, this is my fucking Star Wars, and I've gotten very little stuff to buy. If anything, I've been have to go on eBay. Like this thing, this is made in 2008, this Nexus statue, and yeah, like I hunt for pre-Disney prequel shit because they give me nothing. They've given me a couple of weird clone trooper, McQuarrie-esque replays of his designs, and Darth Maul.
Yeah,
and that's about all you get from Disney. They really said F you, just like the EU, or even more so, because at least they cherry pick EU story shit. they like completely ignore my fandom. It feels like so. It's whenever I get a hint of it, I'm like, oh yes, this feels like my Star Wars. Like yes, give me more. So I enjoyed it, and
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan too, Angus. I love the prequels. I grew up, I mean, a little bit before, but I also had children right when the prequels came out, and I, lived vicariously through them in their eyes. So when I was singing George Lucas ruined my childhood, I was going, dang, I don't, lighten up, Francis. This is pretty cool. And I like the N1 Starfighter. I thought was a good idea, and it irks me too that I couldn't like just say, hey, put the panels on, man. I was like, if you could put the panels on, would it be an all silver Starfighter?
Yeah.
It seems like this is a patch up job essentially. Like, if you wants to make it look spoofy, you got to go somewhere else. This is a make it function essentially. And then if he wants to give a better paint job and stuff, he can go somewhere else for that. But what I liked is that he actually was a part of the process of doing this, which is, again, this kind of, and then he's like, oh, their Jawas around, can I have him do some stuff for me? And it's like, there's so much character that I'm getting from him. And for me, not having seen all of Mando, like, I don't know everything about him really. And it's like, I'm like, wow, I'm getting all this as to where Boba Fett, I don't know anything still what he wants to do or anything. He doesn't do anything. It's like, I'm liking seeing the protagonist. Well, I'm calling him the protagonist now. Anyway, do something himself, and be a part of something like he's doing, and he's like, and it's his own new ship that he's making essentially. Like that's gonna be for him. And I feel like this shouldn't be his main ship, but if he gets a bigger ship, this would be like a good I'm gonna use often ship or something. Because I feel like if he's still gonna bounty hunt, you don't got much room in there for anything, but and all your weapons that you usually have, so. Probably do want a bigger ship. This would be a cool one to have as a spare or something, and to get around for the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Something
nice
to use for now, yeah. And later he'll get, another Razor Crest or something.
Yeah, and I do like, again, this is like world building too with it. That's like, these things can go hyper speed without the little assister thing, the thing that Obi-Wan has to use to jump.
Hyperdrive ring.
Whatever, the hyperdrive ring, right? And so I'm like, oh, that's a nice little thing of information I didn't really know. That it doesn't damage anything in the prequels or whatever. It enhances information that didn't need to be in the prequels at the time. So it's like, oh, this is nice little info there. It's expansion in the right way. And I don't know, I liked that little bit as well. I think that we were there for a little while longer than we needed to be with like showing the making of the ship and. There's a lot of lingering in this episode as well.
Whole dating the Jawa and he's the furry. And I was like, come on.
Like this episode is 50 minutes long. And
you know what? The whole Jawa thing is gonna. I mean, I appreciate people's creativity, but this is stuff that feeds like weird Rule 34 porn and stuff. It's like, oh god, it's like, oh, they've added a new element no one knew about. Like, oh god,
oh boy. Let the memes begin.
Yeah, and then what? Does anything else happen? I forget.
I'm trying to remember the actual ending of the episode. Like, what was the hook?
Well, so it's actually funny that so there's this 50-minute episode. Some interesting things happen, but not much happens in it. Like, I really compare it. It's so night and day with this and Boba Fett. Like there's the same amount of time goes by. And things are going by slowly, but things are happening with this. It's just taking a while. And yeah, go ahead.
You know what, Rook? I think, when you say that, and I'm sitting here reminiscing over the episode, they got a lot of things out of the way for Din Djarin that they don't have to cover when his season starts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he wants to go see Grogu, essentially, and he wants to try to bounty hunt. He's trying to get his own ship. He's got his weapons. He's banished from the thing. Like there's a lot there, and he's got a lot of motivation. And he goes to somebody he trusts to get a ship for him, essentially too. And it's like, okay, that's nice. That's neat. And then before he leaves, he does his little flight trip and he lands. Ming-Na Wen is there. She's like, yo, I got a job for you, bro. Here's some money. You wants to help us with some muscle? And he's like, nah, I do it for free. I don't know why, but in a way,
season 2 you'll get it.
But I was
Yeah,
gonna say, in a way, already it seems like he's not motivated by money specifically. Like they already made that kind of clear by him not taking your credits from the people in the beginning. It's like he's just gonna get what he needs for himself for when he needs it, essentially. So, if he's gonna help out a buddy or whatever debt thing or something, he'll just do it for free. So I was like, okay, neato. And he's like, yeah, I'll help you guys, but I got to do something first. I assume they're implying that he's got to go see the Baby Yoda first or something. I don't know.
So do you guys think that means he has to go in the next episode? Because or does it not happen in the next episode and they extend Boba Fett's show, into another season?
It'd be funny if the next episode's just Mando going to Jedi Academy or something. That's it. It's just, hey, Boba Fett, it's almost done. And here's more Mandalorian.
It's like, yeah, we wrote 4 episodes and then we just kind of didn't know what to do. So
I feel like when they come back to Boba Fett, like when they go back to Boba Fett and his stuff, they'll have like an army that we didn't see him amass. And it's like, wait, when did that happen? Off screen. And it's like, oh, well, that's the kind of stuff you should have been showing us. Shut up. Just watch this, okay? Like, he's got it now, okay? It's like, all right. Yeah, that was the hook, was that Boba wants him to be muscle, and he wants to go give Grogu a present. I think that was the end.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta dip back. I gotta hang out with ETEP, but it's been fun. Got a good hour in with y'all, and see y'all next week for episode 6, Book of Mandalorian.
Great to see you, Angus.
Yeah, Book of Mandalorian.
Book of Mandalorian. Mando.
Pretty much. Do you have any more thoughts on this episode? I think that's the end of the episode now.
I've got tons of thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead, share them.
So, I like you said, there was a lot that happened, but nothing happened. Man, this was one of the richest. It was so full of richness, The whole episode there was a lot that. Can you hear me pretty good?
Now I can. You dropped out for like 3 seconds there.
Okay. So think about when you go to a Star Wars movie, they specifically have 3 different parts every time. There's a beginning, middle, and end to each movie. And that's what they did with this show. He started in one spot, went to another spot, did that, and then went to another spot and did that. And that's what I'm saying, man. There's such a stark, brilliantly lit contrast between this episode and any of the episodes that happened with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It's just that it doesn't feel right. It feels like somebody else. Now, I know when I say that, everyone's mind goes straight to, well, you're just thinking it's Kathleen Kennedy and blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, sure, why not? But maybe it's just somebody who really sucks at storytelling, and that would point me to the storytelling group.
I mean, that, or maybe there are too many people in it, like too many cooks in the kitchen, and nothing's getting done properly. It's all out of order and all out of whack. Like, if they have skilled people working on it, it doesn't, like, if you had a lot of skilled directors working on the same movie at the same time, I don't know if that'd be a good movie. Like, all their different styles clashing.
I think you're onto something, man. I really think you are. Because I want to do the same thing as everyone else and start to say, well, that's probably Kathleen Kennedy. But in this case, I don't think it is, because she's kind of been less involved, at least in the media. So I would agree. It's like they have so many directors and such. You got the producer, which is Favreau, and I guess Filoni is also a producer. I don't know. I have to look, but we know they're in those positions anyway. So they're like, okay, I got to go do this other thing over here. You wouldn't believe what we're doing with Marvel. You can handle it, right? Yeah, because I already read the script. I know you're good to go. I trust you as directors. Go. Like, I don't know, man. I think you're right. I think it was definitely too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know their whole behind the scenes stuff, but I know that on Boba Fett, like we saw before, like that the guy who plays Boba Fett, has suggested to have less lines and stuff, but they aren't really taking his advice on how to do anything.
Yes.
And so I don't know, like it's hard to say. Maybe they think it's the same as Mando with it. That's what I'm saying too. So don't get me wrong. When I'm complimenting Mando, I'm not saying that it's done super well, but like in contrast, it is done at least to a minimum standard that's like enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
Like there's more than one thing happening in a scene. There's like whatever's happening is making sense enough. Some bits are a little choppy, like for like the fight scene. Like I don't remember if I saw him even get clipped by his lightsaber. He just went at one point, and I was like, what? Like, I don't know if they cut it weird on purpose like that. Things like that are like kind of weird, like how long it took for, like, they're showing him walk from place to place. It's a little like it drags. So there are things that I still don't like about it, but they also do things that make more sense. Like when he's at the place and he's getting the weapon forged and he's talking, like you're getting a little bit of motivation there. And then when he's fighting with the saber, he's, how he's trying to use it. And then the other person challenges him. It's like, there's character things happening while there's action happening. And that's something that is just absent in Boba Fett. And, and as much as Mando has spoken in this episode, I feel like it's very concise what he's saying. And it's like he's getting more than one point across sometimes when he says it. That's where Boba Fett, he's like, I am Boba Fett. I am going here. I am doing this. It's like everything he says is just what it is. And I'm like, God, shut up. And then when Mando's saying something, he says a few words, but it seems like whatever those are is all he needs to say. No clarification. And, he'll just turn around and walk away. And I'm like, God, that was good. Like, just simply the you want to come in hot or you want to come in cold? Like, that's just, you don't need to say, it would be good if you come with me, because then otherwise I would have to try to kill you, but I'd rather not. Like his Boba Fett's lines would be long. Like when he was like, keep an eye on him. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But it's just like, fucking shut up.
Apologetic and shit. I think, you're right. Like he says so much more with saying very little. It's imposing, intimidating, and it's a good way to write the character, because that's the way freaking Boba Fett is, and then B, like they've got this other guy that they've already had to give that whole persona to because of not doing the movie first, right?
Yeah.
In regards to when he hits himself with the sword, I thought that was really strange too. I was watching it just before we came on to do the stream. I've watched it, maybe 4 times, I guess. 3.5. And I was like, okay, what was the idea there? Like, so he would have to go see the what's her name? The armorer.
Yeah.
But wouldn't he have to go see her anyway to say, hey, look, I did this with the freaking sword, and here's my best scar. You can melt down or whatever. So
yeah, to me, well, I guess with me, I haven't seen season 2, so I have no context for what happened beforehand. So it just seemed like, okay, so there was a lot, like all the stuff that happened in season 2, and then since season 2 to now, he's got to go dump on them now, is what that felt like. And I didn't see season 2.
Oh yeah. Well, you broke up a little. Did you say like an info dump?
Well, yeah, I was saying so like, did he go back to the armorer in season 2 at all?
I don't think so. If he did, I don't remember it.
Because otherwise, it's like he's got all that whole information and everything that happened since then. And then, like, when we're seeing him now is when he goes back and dumps all this stuff onto her, essentially, I guess.
It sounds like that to me, because I don't remember in season 2. If he did, it wasn't important.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that makes sense, but you're right. Like, I feel like the injury was weird. The way he wielded it didn't seem like it was heavy, but I don't know. I thought he just was bad with it. This was kind of what I was getting at. Like, he's not used to using a weapon. See, this is actually why lightsabers or dark sabers are only useful if you know how to use it. Otherwise, it's like, dude, you could almost kill yourself. Fuck that. Like,
right?
You almost got yourself there, dude. That almost cost you. Like. And apparently it hurt really bad, like more than just like a normal owie, And I was like, oh man, like you might die. I don't know. You're limping and breathing hard a lot for that.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they wanted to show you that it's because on my second rewatch, after having seen him training with it and it was heavier, I actually thought about at one point during the fight with the dog guy in the beginning, he's dragging it across the floor, making sparks. On the first time I saw it, I thought he was doing it for our sake, so we'd see sparks and go, "Ooh, cool!"
Right.
But on rewatch, even the second time, I knew it's heavy, which is cool. What's cool about rewatching anything that you like a first time is, you catch more to it or whatever. But yeah, so that I did catch. And then he cuts the guy in half. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm confused on like if the weapon is difficult to wield, why would he use that in the field like that and not the other weapon that he has?
Oh, because the Beskar rod or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know that the like Darksaber's OP and all, but I feel like if it can almost kill you at the same time, you might as well use one that is more likely to kill them, not you. But I guess the way that the armor puts it is that could also technically kill you, the spear or whatever. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, whatever I'm most proficient in wielding, I'm using that so my ass lives.
Yeah, it's like if you were given a baseball bat that you have no training in, and then you were also given like, I don't know, like a mace or let's say like a that thing in Lord of the Rings that has that the dude uses on the chick, with the huge spikes on the end of the ball or something and the chain.
The mace ball, whatever.
Yeah, like, would you rather use a baseball bat or that? Like, I'd rather use a baseball bat because I know what I can do with it and I won't kill myself with it.
Exactly. I would totally knock myself in the head with that mace. I would be dead.
Yeah, like I'd accidentally probably poke myself. Like with the baseball bat, now I know where it is. As long as I'm not a dumbass and hit myself in the head, I'll be good.
I totally agree. What I don't understand is a lot really, but if it were you, man, because he has the Darksaber, and because this is a Boba Fett show, would you not have figured out a way? I know this is just sort of a conjecture of what you would do or whatever, but wouldn't you have figured out a way to get that dang Darksaber into Boba Fett's hands to fight Mace Windu?
If Mace Windu's alive, I guess.
Yeah, sure, fair enough.
If they're doing that, I don't know if they're doing that.
Doesn't feel like they're doing that, but with this show, you never fucking know anymore.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like it'd be weird if he was alive still, but I don't know.
Older, but see, they're bringing in weird cameos. Like one of the cameos.
But you're in a way, you're right. I mean, they brought back Palpatine. He was fucking dead.
Oh,
they brought back Ahsoka when she was fucking dead.
You know that feeling when you feel like you're like just the very idea of they brought Palpatine back. That's how it makes me feel mentally.
Yeah. Well, it's like they brought back Ahsoka too when she was dead.
Yeah, I mean, actually,
she fought Vader and she died. Like
right, and they brought her back in Rebels and all that.
They're like, nah, she's alive. And it's like, ugh, can you just let a character die? Darth Maul. How many times did he die?
It doesn't hold any weight if they're not dead. Bring a new character. Make a new character is all.
Well, yeah, half the time they do, and then they just drop them anyway. And they'll kill that character off, but then the old one they won't kill or something.
Yeah,
it's so like, oh my fucking god, can we have any weight? I don't know. They seem to be struggling at that, but
they do.
I don't know.
I think you're right. There are too many writers or directors in the kitchen because I think we would agree that this was a really good episode. I mean, and you're right. If you contrast it against the earlier Boba Fett episodes, I mean, of course, it's great in comparison. But as a Mandalorian episode, it was also pretty cool. It advanced the story of the Mandalorian quite a bit. Got a lot of stuff out of the way so that when we do revisit the Mando, we can just get right to the action. Probably because they want to get to the action where he's on Mandalore fighting Bo-Katan, Kryze, and
probably.
Yeah,
like I feel like this episode would have been better if they cut out maybe 10 minutes. But that's saying a lot considering in the last few Boba Fett ones, I'm like, you can cut out like most of it, the whole episode, combine them, in fact, and you'll probably, do better. with
Totally
that.
done.
So this is like I just shave off maybe 10 minutes of some slow bits, but other than that, that's just pretty good. And for again, like so, like pretend that I barely seen him as far as where he is now, and so it's like if I were to have seen him for the first time here, I'd be like, wow, this is a lot of information about the character. This is a lot that makes me want to see more with this character, like. So that was just done like, wow, it was really nice. And then the way that he comes in and, she's like, oh, Boba Fett, wants to hire you. It's like, I wouldn't have even guessed that this is in Boba Fett's show. But this is a Mando show where he's meeting the Mandalorian again, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But check this out, man. As wonderful as that is, and I would have said the same thing. Oh, this is a Boba Fett show? Wait a minute. What? But why does Boba Fett not come meet up with the Mando himself?
Because he's, because
penis.
I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know why he does anything, so I don't know why he'd do anything. I don't know. I have no idea.
I
have no idea.
There's two reasons. One is the in-universe reason, and the other one is the corporate Disney reason. The corporate Disney reason is more screen time with women. And that's fine, but not at the expense of a character.
And then the curly-haired chick in this episode for like half the episode.
Yeah.
And the armored chick was also a woman. So.
Yeah. I don't mind women being in anything. I no more than I mind.
Women were almost in this full episode.
They totally were. And if you just watch it all, you've got the girl who was on the Vespas, tough girl fight, and then in the next episode she was fighting Chrysanthemum. Him.
That was in the same episode.
Was it the same episode?
They literally haven't shown them since they got them. They literally haven't showed them at all since they obtained them.
Yeah, it's almost as if they knew people would hate them.
When they got Chrysanthemum, they didn't even show the kids or whatever back. Like they just showed, oh, I got Ming-Na Wen and him and the guards, but I don't have those guys. I guess I don't know.
Chrysanthemum, I love that.
Yeah, Chrysanthemum or Chris Hansen. That's who he is.
That's a flower. A chrysanthemum is a flower.
It is the Wookiee. It is the Wookiee now.
You find out later on that Wookiee is a transsexual Wookiee,
Yeah, they can either eat meat or the energy from the sun because they are a flower.
He's a flower. Yeah, he identifies as a flower. But so, yeah, just hypothetically, let's say that there's another reason in universe, and that is because Boba Fett is such a important guy at the palace over the 5 people that he has there, that he had to be at the palace while she went out and looked for Din Djarin. Mando. Yeah. So if I had to go with one, I'd be like, all right, that's the reason. She can go talk to a lot of people while he does stuff at the palace, whatever the hell he's doing there. I don't know.
I'd say so people don't take it over, but I don't know why the fuck they'd want to. It's way out of butt fuck nowhere. Like it's like away from the city. Why would anybody want it?
Yeah, it seems to me you would need at least a minimum crew of 30 to 100 people, cleaning the palace and operating its daily operations.
Like honestly, it seems undesirable to want to live there unless you're like Jabba, who doesn't go into the city. You just chill in your palace and have other people bring you shit.
Of course, exactly.
Other than that, I don't see why you'd want to live there at all. It seems like a very an ungood tactical position, and you don't have like any defenses up at all. Like, really dumb.
Let alone take it over and make it yours and make a statement like I'm the big bad, boss.
It's like I still don't get fucking why or like what happened to Tuna's forces. Like they showed in the last episode, he had forces.
Yeah,
he had people around.
They need money. They need food. They already know their job.
Yeah.
They already know.
I think it's still stupid how he went in and tried to steal his ship from them. It was like you probably could have walked in and be like, "I'm fucking Boba Fett. Get out of my way."
Well,
they'd probably be like, "Oh shit! All right, yeah, all right."
We haven't seen the rest of this show, but you're right. You're so right. He could have just went in. This is the way I see it. He goes in. He shoots Bib Fortuna. And then
honestly, I don't know why he'd shoot Bib Fortuna. He was like Boba, like not like oh fuck you, it was like a friendly greeting, and he just killed him. It was like, well, I mean, he probably just could have asked if he wants to do this whole respect bullshit. I don't know. You didn't start off quite respectfully. You shot the guy and took his place. That's not exactly respect at all.
Exactly. How you
It's
gonna talk?
bullshit.
I'm gonna rule with respect after you murder the guy in cold.
Yeah. You cut out there after you said after you murdered the guy.
Can you hear me?
Now you're back. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just said that was straight murder. Serious, brutal murder. Talk about I'm gonna rule with respect. Okay.
After I kill this guy, and then I will.
Yeah, you send your little girlfriend out to find your warriors to help you. I mean, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, honestly, this show would have been better if either Ming-Na Wen or Mando were like out increasing Boba's forces in space, or vice versa, where he's going out in space and trying to gather forces, and they watch the fort or something.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can be on Tatooine like they fucking want, but then also go away from it. Honestly, that was probably one of the best parts, is that we weren't on Tatooine for the whole episode. I was like, wow, I'm away from this place. God damn, thank God I'm away from this place. Jeez, I hate Tatooine now. I don't ever want to see it again.
I agree.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Any sandy fucking planet. Like, you know, when they do the Obi-Wan show, fuck me if they actually on Tatooine. Get them the fuck off there.
Fuck off.
Get them off there.
They're gonna take us to Bakhtu and then Tatooine and some other
Crate or some shit. No.
Crate. Oh, fuck.
Hey Zod. Hey Sherry. We're wrapping up here pretty soon. But yeah, we're just talked about the Book of Mandalorian and all that. Man.
No hate for Mando. It's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting how they decided to do all that. And I know you keep on. It's easy to think about what they could have done, and they just keep on not doing. I have almost no predictions for what's going to happen in the next episode, because I don't know if I care or that it'll matter if I predict it or not. Because I don't know. By this point, I don't even know. I didn't think they'd do a full episode with just Mando.
I know that.
So it's like, okay, which I'm glad they did, honestly, because with what we've seen of Boba Fett, I'd like to see less of Boba Fett. So that's fine with me.
They run the risk of making everyone who's watching Boba Fett not want to see him again. Surely they knew when they did screenings for these, okay, these first 4 episodes are really kind of slow and weird, but this 5th one's going to be really good. They're going to really like this. And then we're going to go back to this really slow and weird thing. I mean, that's not normal.
Yeah, and it's like, I thought this episode, this is one thing that the episode could have done, which is like at least move forward a little bit onto what the Pikes are involved in, or how. If Mando ran into them in some way, shape, or form, that would have been like narratively a better move.
Yeah.
To run into the Pikes and then to help set us up more for the next episode of the Book of Boba Fett a little bit. Be like, man, ran into these fuckers, and then on Wednesday, hey, you want to help us, with Boba? I don't really want to. No, we're gonna go up against the Pikes. Count me in. Some shit like that.
Something like that. There's no setup and payoff going on for Boba. Like, hell, he ran into those most Vespas, and the same episode he uses them to, albeit a terrible chase scene, chase them. And then that was that. Like, that was a setup and then payoff, and nothing goes further than that one episode. I thought the Sand People, big setup, man. 2 episodes, they set it up. 3rd episode, they kill them. No, that's not a payoff at all.
Yep, the Hutts. They just arrive and then leave.
In 24 hours. They're like, hey, we're really angry. This is ours. Look, legally, we have paper that legally states this is ours. And he's like, no, fuck you. Which, by the way, if there's legal paperwork and you and me can understand this, we're going to pay attention to that.
Yeah, which is also weird because they're in a lawless area. What the fuck do they mean they have paperwork? That's what Tatooine is. It's outside of the normal shit. It's like even the Empire didn't really have jurisdiction there. They're just on there to search for shit that happened up there. Like they don't have like, oh, we rule it. No, it's like the Hutts rule that area. That's just what that was. And it's like, they could have this would have been hilarious. Like I hated how they had Ming-Na Wen come here and like, hey, Boba wants to hire you. Like, I thought it would have been funny if like the biker gang comes up and like, hey, you, Mando. And he's like, oh, fuck you kids. And they're like, we're going to get you. And then he like beats the shit out of all of them.
Oh,
something. And then they're like, he just wants to hire you for muscle. Yeah, I can tell he hasn't fucking muscle yet. then like the Wookiee comes out or something. Like I don't know. That would have been like a interesting thing to see there.
Oh man.
It's like, oh, there you go.
And then like one of the Vespa scooter guys was named George Moyd. And then like they have this whole riot.
You say you have Mando's head on a knee on his head or something. Who said you? I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. Oh man, that would have been they'd never do that, but
That'd be ballsy. But
yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know. Like I have no idea what these last 2 episodes will be. I honestly, my investment hasn't changed. It's just now I kind of want to finish Mandalorian season 1 just to see what the hell happens, and then what happens with season 2. Like again, what's funny is like, you know, you'd think that I'm praising Mando, but like I'm really not. Like it's just like on my scale, I think it's still like below a 5 out of 10, but it's like a high, like Book of Boba Fett being like below a 2.
Right.
No, like it's like that's how I feel about Boba Fett with the show. But then Mando's like, hey, you know, that's like a 4. You know, like a 4.
When people are feeding you, like you're in a prison and they're giving you like moldy apples for like a year, and then you finally get just one regular apple.
Yeah,
you know? It's like, oh damn, that's the best fucking apple I've ever
it tastes good. It's all sweet. And it's like, yeah, nice.
Yeah, and it's ultimately still just an apple and not a steak, you know.
Yeah.
Although I do like apples, I'm more of a pear guy, but you know,
apples rule. Hell yeah. Zod's like, I love the first episode of Mando. LOL. Wait, I mean Boba Fett. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the first episode of the Mando. Yeah, Boba Fett.
This is they're just starting season 3 of Mando now. Essentially, it's
true.
Push aside Boba Fett's plots because there's not much there anyway, and just have Mando stuff happen. So
you know, Zod, most of the stuff we're saying has probably been said already. I've caught a couple of people's videos, and I try not to say some of the same things. So for the most part, if I feel very passionately about what they said, because I thought that too, I've tried to bring it up, but I've tried to say things, you know, that are uniquely my opinion. But I don't know. I do agree with the one thing that all have been saying, and that is that, you know, this was a total Mandalorian episode. Like it literally, you know, was a Mandalorian episode. And it doesn't fit in with the Boba Fett situation, except the very ending where they're shoehorned Ming Wan in, and she's like, hey, Boba needs you. You know, that's the only real thing you can say that it was a Boba Fett episode. But even then, I think it's a reach.
Exactly. They might as well have called the episodes of Mando a Boba Fett episode at that point, where he's in it.
Yeah, of course. Or who's the actor who's a comedian? Rob Bird. I can't.
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, yeah. My dad works with a guy named Jeff Bird, and that was in my head. Anyway,
that's funny, but no, it's like I just saw that episode with Bill Burr on Mando, and it's like, you know, again, I don't think that episode's great, but like the characters and what they're doing and their own motivations like are being presented, and I'm like, wow, I missed that. Like at least, like I missed at least that, you know.
Season 2 good. Yeah, I mean it's still an apple. But you know,
it's like they're in one episode. It's like the apple's like, it's not all great, but like a couple bites in it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know it's a weird analogy, but like I like pears, so my mom, she thinks pears need to be stiff and hard, and I disagree with that. I think pears should be soft and ripe. So it's all, you know, it's the eye of the beholder, but overall, it was a really good apple.
Right.
Yeah, season 2 is good. You'll like it.
Yeah. Zod wants in just for a few minutes. Zod, we're closing out pretty much.
Yeah, I
don't know if Flip, if you gotta go. If you gotta go, that's cool.
I do gotta go, but he can come in and talk with you.
I'll entertain him for a few.
Yeah.
Here.
He can come in and I'll say hi to y'all. Okay,
sounds good. Yeah, you have a good one, man. This was a nice little conversation again. You got bedtime. Sorry if it's going over when you're supposed to go to sleep again.
I was passionate about this one, but yeah, I gotta get in the old sack in the next 20 minutes. Got to prep for it too. So
I gotcha. Well, I will talk to you later, man.
All right. Talk to you later, brother.
Yep. See ya. All right. So Zod will be joining me in just a sec here. Morb 367 says, "Why are you giving Disney money?" Well, I'm not giving Disney money for it. Somebody else has the account for it. But in general, I don't know if giving them money or not actually matters these days. Like the way that they make money all the time, even if like hundreds and hundreds of people, or even a couple thousand people were to all of a sudden stop paying them stuff, I don't know if that would even leave much of a dent in their overall income or anything these days. I don't know. So I feel like if anything, critique what's bad of theirs that they come out, or if it's good, then that gives them, helps them maybe, or at least people that aren't sure about watching them, decide on whether or not it's something worth giving a shot. Yeah, like me watching Boba Fett is specifically because a couple of friends want to hear my takes on it, like what I think about it. So I'm watching it and giving my thoughts. Otherwise, I wouldn't really watch it. Like I've recently started watching Cobra Kai again all the way, and I loved the Karate Kid series. So I'm trying to catch up on that stuff. And yeah, freaking Cobra Kai is awesome. And I'm trying to slowly watch it. I don't like to binge things all at once. I mean, in a way, that is something Disney does well, is that they release weekly shows instead of doing it all at once. Because that way you can, gives you time to watch it and discuss it with people as it goes, and keeps it relevant for a little while instead of just kind of going away in a poof. Curtis YZ is here. He says Peers Peers software. YPS, what the fuck? I was talking about Paris. I gotcha. What's up, Zoud?
Hey, I'm less agitated.
Me too. What do you know? miracles can happen.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer Morb's question. I haven't given Disney money since Endgame. And to be fair, if you tell me you didn't give them money, you're a fucking liar, because we all did. 3 billion says different, but no, my girlfriend likes Zootopia, and Disney owns everything. So
yeah, I was gonna say they have Fox, they got Pixar. There's always something that you're almost giving them money for. Probably you don't even know. Epic Rap Battle is a freaking history, was owned by Disney at one point. Like it's weird that the things that they've had their hands in,
I mean, look at anything 20th century. Even if you watch the old catalog, you're still giving them money because they have the rights.
They still have something. Yeah,
that's my argument.
Their old good stuff. Yeah, but we can just hang for like a little bit here. I will want to go before the 2-hour mark at least here. So, what'd you think of Book of Mando?
I thought it was a great season 3 premiere. They're really starting off this season strong. I'm really looking forward to the Mandalorian season 3. Oh, wait a second. Let me just check. Oh, this is the Book of Fett. Interesting. Fucking weird choices, Rookie. I was listening to you guys, and that's why I wanted to come in, because this whole show has been very oddly plotted, and like this could have honestly boosted Boba Fett, but I feel like at this point they don't give a shit about him, and they're just like abandoning ship, because they instantly fucking switched it up. And I'm not gonna lie, this episode was fucking epic. I loved it. Pretty much almost everything except for the shit when they try to connect it to Boba Fett, because like you said, some of the techniques they use, they could have did it 150 different ways to make it kind of make more sense, and they choose the most roundabout, like suspend your disbelief kind of a way. It's just like, oh yeah, randomly show up, and it's just like you could have connected it to the Pikes. You could have did a ton of things, and they choose the oddest. I think that's the thing of this season. It's odd choices. Like the whole fucking season is just very weird choices.
It's like dartboard plots and motivation, essentially. Let's just have things on a dartboard and see if we can hit something, and that's what we pick.
It's like And I know the director, somebody commented on it on another show I was watching just to get like different people's takes. And the director of this episode is the director that's done some of the best Mandalorian episodes of the series. It's a woman, I forget her name, but she's very good.
Yeah.
So I could see where she was trying to do the Mandalorian stuff, but also try to help it make it cohesive with, Boba Fett. And I don't fault the director because everything that was presented was very well shot. It flowed. This is the best flowing episode.
What if he got a bounty for Boba Fett's head?
That's what I'm saying. And I don't blame it on the director, because when you think of the director's job, it's not to write the story. It's to direct the episode.
Right.
So the story was already done. So at this point, it's really more of the story.
Trying to execute it, essentially. Trying to execute the story.
Yeah, like the execution was fine. This is the first episode I've seen where the execution of the story, like everything makes sense. It flows nicely. It's much better shot. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, but you come down to the writing. And once again, the writing is out of the director's hands. So it's just like...
Well, it's like whether or not it's the director's fault, like there are things that could have been improved. Like I feel like there's a lot of kind of unconnected things that were, or like, we linger in places a little too long. Not because it needs to be fast paced, but it's like, it just doesn't need to be there as long. But I'll admit that even though it's taking a while, more than one thing is happening, which is like, oh, I'm like, wow, oh yeah, layered. Something else is happening other than what's happening. Like when he's building his ship, he's doing more than one thing. It's like the fact that he is helping to build his ship shows character, and the time that he's taking with it, the way that he works compared to the other person. Like she was giving information about how the ship works, and that expands on knowledge that we didn't know from before. Maybe like it's like, oh, like things are happening. Wow, but it's taking a while, but it's happening. Like that's different than when in Boba Fett nothing's happening and it's just taking a long time and nothing's happening.
Well, you've watched like not all of Mando, but you've watched some, and I think if you got to episode 3, you got to another episode this director directed. And if you watch any of their episodes, I'd have to look back through to see which one she specifically shot. But if you notice, that's her style. Like, I could tell because it felt very Mandalorian. She has this style of directing where she'll take different plots and like layer them on top of each other, and it adds depth so that even if someone's fixing a ship or making a ship, there's still character development happening while that's happening. So you never feel like it's just slowed down, and that shows the talent of the director. But once again, when you have writing where she's kind of forced to go to these other random scenes, that undercuts.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was the thing too. We followed him the entire time, and I'm like, wow. And I don't want to leave. Really, like, I'm kind of wanting to see what he does next. And I'm like, I haven't felt that ever with Boba. I'm like, get me the fuck away from him. Cut away from Boba Fett. It's usually what I'm like chanting in my head as things happen. And with the Mando, I'm like, let's stick around a little bit. Let's at least see what he's gonna do next. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not invested in Mando, and I don't think it's very good. But I think, like, I was trying to use a scale, like with Flip. It's like if I give like Boba Fett like a 1, and Mandalorian's more like a 3 or 4. Like it's I'm gonna say the first. It's much more of a step up in comparison.
Okay, so for me, my grading, the first season in general, I was a little bit more generous. And to be fair, I was coming off of having no Star Wars content.
I've only seen up to the episode that's just after Bill Burr.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just saying, based on what I've seen, I think that Mando is like a 3 or 4, kind of bouncing back and forth between that in quality, and that Boba Fett's like, it's not even touching a 2. Like, no.
So yeah, to be fair with that, I think you'll see in season 2 you could tell it's a very much a season 1 show when you're watching it because they hadn't found the structure. It's very weird. And you know what's funny? Everybody thought I was crazy when I rated it about a 5 or a 6 for those episodes because I said there's one through line, but then you have this random ass Bill Burr episode that literally connects to nothing, which took me completely out of it. It's just like a complete side piece. And that was my issue with it, because when you jump back, which you will, then things are going to kick up to about 11. But that's why I gave that whole season like a 6. But then season 2, that's easily an 8 or a 9. I'm not quite at a 10 like everybody else, but it's definitely like the story. You could tell that they found their footing with the story. Now, here's the issue with this is that I don't think anybody paced out exactly the story beats, which surprised me because they made The Mandalorian and they already found their pace by season 2. So it's like, why couldn't you just take that and put it on season 1 of literally the same type of bounty hunter? That's where I'm confused.
Yeah, like I feel like it's just small things like could have been trimmed down a little, and then this would have been more cohesive. But other than that, it was just it was all right. I was okay watching the episode. I wasn't cringing every second. But there were things that I was like, did they actually show him cut himself with the lightsaber? I feel like if they did, it was a very weird, quick cut, like cutty scene because it didn't register that he cut himself. I was like, what? Yeah,
it was a very quick cut because I rewatched the episode. This is actually the first episode I rewatched.
Okay, yeah. This is the first one that makes me want to go, like, at least and go, you know what? I want to watch more of this character. Like, I want to see more of this character now because this is like, there's something there. It's like, it got so funny because like in general, I'd be like, this is like, like, I don't really want to see this, but like, in comparison, oh man, I'd take this any day over Boba Fett. Jesus Christ. Like this is there's something here. Like if you have an apple and it doesn't taste that great, there's some bites that taste fine. Like that's what this is what that feels like.
And I even said, like, see, my issue is like that now I've been spoiled for a couple of weeks with media that I've liked. Like, okay, I just got done watching probably the best set of television since Breaking Bad and The Ozarks, right? And when you come off of a show like that, and then you try to watch a Disney show, it's such a different experience. It's just like, I'm like, oh my God, it's like I stepped myself down several levels.
You're like, no.
Because I like, because you got to take your brain out of that when you start, and you know what I mean, right? Have you ever watched something like really good and then you try to watch something shitty or like competent and you're like, oh, this is such a waste of my time. Like that's how I feel.
Not on purpose, but like I've ended up doing that where I'm like, wow, this is a great show. Then I watch something else and I'm like, ew, what the hell is going on here? This show is awful. No.
Yeah, it was like I was sitting here because I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back through on my day off and watch some stuff that I've missed, right? And even some anime and things like that. And then I was like, oh, that's right, a new Book of Fett is out. Better watch it so I can talk about it. So I sit there and I got done watching The Ozarks and a couple of other things again because we're doing a review tonight. And I was like, this is good, but
right, yeah, it's like there's still better quality beyond yonder over here. The last time I felt like this was like before the Inhumans show came out, like the really shitty one that they like really tried to bury under a rug as quickly as possible. Like when that came out, I was rewatching season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they have more Inhuman stuff going on, and then I watched the Inhumans. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like you had Inhumans weren't even the main thing of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they did that decent, and then like Inhumans was like total poop Like, I don't. How does that happen?
And the funny part about that, when you look at the history, the budget for the Inhuman show was way more than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
Way more.
Agents of Shield felt more epic, and it was very small. You know, it was very tiny, but they had moments of like, whoa, look at that. You know, like, and that was
They
done
had
well.
fucking Ghost Rider.
They did care.
They
did
did Ghost
character.
Rider right.
They did him. He was barely even in the season he was in, but I still liked when he was on screen. Like, it was like, wow, and I liked his character. Like, he had, you know, like, he seemed like somebody you can sympathize with, and it was like, man, that's done again, not perfectly, but like at a level where it's like, yeah, I get it though, you know. As to where with Inhumans, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with that show. What is anything? Why?
And this is my problem when I say like across in general, like I did feel that's why I wanted to bring up that comment that someone made, because it's like, yeah, I don't feel the overwhelming urge of keeping Disney Plus, because their issue is not the shit that they have that's already been made, but these new shows, the writing is just so all over the place, and it's very rare to get a show that's competent. And I think the metric is that they put out so many shows that are average that when we see something that's even a 5 or a 6, it feels like a 10.
Yeah,
and that's
like,
a problem.
Whoa, look, that's what all Marvel is right now. It's like, you know, this show isn't a 3. Wow. It's like, whoa. Let's go higher.
And
let's see if we can go to let's see if we can reach a 6, you know. Let's see if we can.
And well, that's the thing that bugs me about it too, and why I kind of go after. And I have this curse. I'm a DC fan, so naturally everybody just assumes I'm fucking attacking Marvel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, let's go show for show. What does DC have? We have Superman and Lois, which is probably the best thing the CW has going for it right now. We have Doom Patrol. We have Titans. We had Swamp Thing, which was so fucking good. People actually want that show back. What was the other one we just got? Oh, Peacemaker. Peacemaker is fucking hilarious. Every episode of Peacemaker so far has been like an 8 out of 10. And then like, oh yeah. If you haven't seen it, that show is fucking ridiculously funny. But
you know me, I'm trying. I'm almost catching. I'm almost caught up with Cobra Kai. I'm like 5 episodes left, and then I'll be caught up finally. I'm trying to watch the movie still. I'm making more progress faster, but it's still taking a while with the stuff. So, but I'll get around to Peacemaker. I'll get around to Peacemaker at some point here.
So then, like, look at HBO Max, look at Netflix, right? No matter how much shit people talk about them, and then look at Disney. And this is my issue, is that each of those streaming services, yeah, they have like maybe fucking 50 things they'll release that's all garbage. But within that, you got like 10 or so that'll be solid shows. But Disney has been doing average to really fucking poor.
Yeah, with maybe one sparkle of that's almost pretty good, you know. Like the average ones that peak out, like No Way Home is like one of the, you know, oh wow, but that's still, to me, like that's still like a 5 out of 10. Like there's a lot good. There's a lot good in it. See, it's like there's a lot good in it, but a lot bad in it. And that's why I rate the Suicide Squad as too. It's like there's a lot good in it and a lot bad. It's like 50-50 for me. So it's like 5 out of 10.
See, you're probably a little harsher and more objective than me, because you know I'm a DC shill. So the new Suicide Squad movie for me was a 9 out of 10. But you got to be sympathetic. Look at what they gave us first. I mean,
well, I know, but you see, I feel that just regardless, like with No Way Home and with the Suicide Squad, I rate them the same, but there's differences in their own quality, of course. But like there's the subjective high and the things that they do well in it, and then there's like the things that are also pretty shit as well. Like that's like there's some bits that weren't all that great. So that's what I kind of do. Like there's a lot of things even in the Suicide Squad, you got to admit, that are really weird, that are like not weird in just that it's weird, but like when it was like raining, the fog is like blindingly white, and it's like what is that? Like it's just That's what allows them to sneak in
Well,
the building, and
well,
it's like that's not how
let's be
bright
real.
anything would ever be. Like you walked in 3 feet and you disappear. Like that's fake as shit. Like that's weird. That's
Let's be
for
real.
that's for
We
the
can
plot.
blame that on Gunn himself. He's
I'm not. So anything I'm saying isn't about the director. I'm just saying that is the movie that I watched, and that's what I'm critiquing. I don't know. I don't know anything about any behind the scenes, anything about anyone in it or whatever. I'm just judging the movie as it is.
No, I mean Gunn's style in general. If you watch any of his movies, that's where you can say the director. In that case, he has a certain style. He shoots stuff, and that isn't the first time I've seen him use like really weird overlit choices. He does some scenes like that in Brightburn as well. So I was like, that is more. That is on the director stylistically. For that choice, and I do agree. I had that same issue. I was like, why the fuck is that?
Yeah,
So
like
fucking bright.
that's like one example, but that's like one example. But then there's like with the shark guy, like those little fish things bite at him so tough that they tear his flesh, and he somehow kind of lives that. I don't know. That was kind of weird. Like if they're gonna show that he's super tough and can survive things harshly, having those be able to rip his flesh, I think he would have been dead. Like at that point, so that's kind of a weird thing to show us, you know. Because then I don't know, because then I'm like, I don't know what can kill. I don't know what can kill him at that point, like because that seems like those things could kill him, but then they don't, and it's like I don't know. That's kind of weird. Like there's lots of things like that don't add up very well. The way that all the names are confusing me now. The black guy, I'm going to say the black guy because Bloodsport.
Yeah.
When he's falling down the building, like the way he's falling down, it like, come on, like that's very that looks cool, but that's cool points, not not objective points,
not practical. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
like you don't have to be. You don't have to be fully.
But
that's what I'd call that. That's one critique that I would say is a nitpick. Like that's me nitpicking it. It's not super duper, but it is important because that's what allows him to kill Peacemaker and not kill Ratcatcher. So that is an important bit, but it is sort of a nitpick, but it's also important. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, I do admit my personal biases when I rate something. I mean, realistically, I think I gave that movie like 7 or 8. This is what you should do. You should have like your personal score and your objective score. That's like your feelings and what you've loved about it and everything. Like if you felt like it was like a 9 or something, but then like looking at all the like critiques, like objectively, this is like without your personal love for it aside, could be like a 7 or 6 or something. You know what? That's actually a good idea. But I definitely feel you on that. I do have to go myself too because I'm actually gonna work. I got you. Walk into my car. But yeah, I wanted to bring those points up, and I agree with you. Everybody go check out the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian. It was great. Great. Don't watch anything else in Book of Boba Fett. Just watch this one episode. You're good. Yeah. And if you wonder why we're still reviewing it, well, really, it's just because somebody asked me for my objective opinion, and I'm a sucker. And Rookie because he got roped into it. Angus and Flip roped me in to have commentary. So I was like, okay, I'll give my commentary too. That's all right. And yeah, I think that's the thing. If anything, I think that's helped create some good conversation around it, with like us all looking at it because we don't really care about it. We're just at least trying to see if there is anything to pull from it. Because I'm surprised at like in this episode, I'm like, hey, there's things that I kind of like in it, and compared to Book of Boba Fett, which I would have thought they would have done things that are likable, but they don't. So same team, people. Same team. Jeez. But yeah, but I gotta bounce off here before my girl kills me. All right, then run, my friend. Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed giving my 2 cents. You're amazing, and at 11 tonight, I'll be doing a review with Pop Culture PB on the Ozarks, season 6.
Six seasons. Jesus Christ! Angus was like, you need to start
Wait,
watching that
not
show.
season 6. My bad. Season 4.
I'm like, oh my god! Angus, like, you got to start watching that show. I'm like, okay, I didn't know there was that many seasons already.
They have short episodes though. I think it's only like 8 or 9 episodes per season, or maybe 10. It goes by quick. You can literally finish the season in under a day.
Maybe. maybe.
For you, like 3 days.
Yeah, probably.
But you will love every minute of it. And you want to talk about good writing, I think it would definitely, I would like to pick your brain and see what you think, because from a writing standpoint, there's a lot to chew. The writing is so fucking fantastic. This is damn near, like, this season was damn near perfect television. Like, I had to watch it 3 times to find nitpicks. That's how fucking tight this season was, written wise.
Damn, I might. So, like, I'm supposed to watch Breaking Bad as well, but I don't know. Like, I don't have as much.
Breaking Bad first.
I don't have as much. See, I feel like I don't have as much investment in that type of show, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm only like 1 episode in, so not that far.
As a writer, just keep following it. It's a weird show. It gets better as it goes. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna go before